Because how many kids are there?
5 of us.
Yeah. So 5 kids, 2 parents, pig farm, adventure farm. They're thinking reality show.
They're thinking Kardashians gone hillbilly.
Can we start by talking a little bit about the early days? I don't really know what this adventure farm thing is all about.
Oh my gosh.
What's going on with this thing?
Yeah, I mean, that's literally where we got our start. Our parents, mom and dad, they moved to a farm, and our mom mostly was like, okay, I have 5 kids on this farm, and I got to make them do something during the day.
She grew up in the country really close to where the farm was, and her whole childhood, she was the youngest, really far apart from all her siblings, so she was alone and bored her whole childhood in the country. She was like, I'm not doing that to my kids.
Right.
So she's like, we'll start a farm. You guys can sell pumpkins. It was just going to be pumpkins. And then our dad is like a larger-than-life, biggest dreamer in the world, and he was like, no, we're going to make this a bit bigger. So he started pig races, haunted house, haunted hayride, corn maze, pumpkin patch, the whole thing.
Really?
Weekends in October, kind of a Halloween-themed, family-friendly farm.
So strangers from all over the community are coming to your house all the time?
All the time.
Yeah.
What do you remember about working on this thing?
It was a lot of work. And our parents were like, well, you guys can do the jobs. Like we would like hoe a corn maze by hand, plant pumpkins by hand. That was our whole childhood.
Honestly, financially, our parents figured it out because they had 5 kids, and all of us could cut grass. All of us could whippersnap and do whatever we had to do, mend fences. And then when the actual farm was running, all of our friends from high school would come and do their community hours, so no one got paid. It was just all a free thing. They were just pulling all the money.
Yeah.
Was it fun?
It was fun.
It was really fun.
Yeah. Once it was like going, it was just the pre-setup for it every year sucked.
Yeah, for sure. So, and this is where you start playing music together, right?
Yes, that's right. Our mom would run the pig races. Like she'd be on the microphone and like get everyone down to the pig races. We did 3 pig races a day at 1, 3, and 5.
How many pigs in the pig race, you think?
Well, you do different heats, you see. So you got
4 per race, though.
4 per race and 3 heats.
And how it worked was like it's like a big ring. Obviously, you stand around a ring, but each section of the ring was painted. The posts were like black and then green and red and whatnot. So whatever section you're in, if your pig wins, you get to celebrate, and like that's the whole thing.
Now, were people ever coming down betting on the pigs?
I know, that's the big
question. At one point, there was a couple of betting, and we had to shut that down quick.
We're like, nah, we can't be betting out here. This is
we
a
saw some
family
dads
event.
throwing hundreds on hay bales.
This tells me, because this is more me projecting what I would be doing. I'd be down there going like, I got $20 on the green pig over there.
Yeah.
Okay, so how does the pig races lead to the...
So our mom was like, okay, well, we need like
entertainment.
filler. We need filler in between the different heats of pigs racing. So she's like, you two can sing. Like, get out there and sing a song.
And were you already singing together, or...?
Sort of. Like, I don't know.
I was 7 playing the banjo, and Jenna would sing along to the banjo. Have you ever heard anybody sing just along to a banjo? It's pretty brutal.
It's really bad.
But I was like 7. I didn't know any different. And Jenna would sing. I think we sang Wildwood Flower by June Carter.
We did Johnny Cash and June Carter.
Yeah.
What's it
Jackson,
called?
too.
Jackson.
Yeah, that was our big go-to.
So you were doing older country music, kind of older country and folk music.
Yeah.
Well, the whole farm was like at an adventure farm. We were dressed up like hillbillies.
Yeah. And our parents didn't let us watch The Simpsons. So we watched like Bewitched. We watched Beverly Hillbillies. We would watch Green Acres growing up. So like we were thought we were raised in like the 70s.
And then you wanted to play the banjo because of the theme song to the Beverly Hillbillies.
Yes. Yeah.
I was singing that song to, this is a true story, I was singing that song to one of our producers yesterday. You can imagine what our environment's like in our office. And because she was telling me how she watches The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. And I said, I used to watch the Beverly Hillbillies.
Yep.
And she said, what's it about? And I sang the song. And she said, back then, the songs just told you what the show was about.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Listen to it all about a man named
Yeah,
Jerry.
So
you don't hear that anymore. You don't hear. Okay, so you start singing together in between the pig races. Get a good response, I'm guessing.
Yeah, like people would watch and then pull our parents aside and be like, there's something going on here. Like you should put them in singing or something. So our parents put us in singing lessons. But nothing really happened in the music for us until there was a reality TV show offer for our family. I know.
Tell me this story.
I know.
What is this life you've led?
I know, it's a lot.
I was riding in a canoe. Our dad made a pond in our property, and I was in the canoe with my friend, and this car pulled up, and I was like, don't talk to strangers. So I was like, canoe away from him. And so we started to get away from him. And he rolled into the lane. He was like, hey, I'm a set director from Toronto, and I'm looking to film a Hallmark movie. Could I go up and talk to your parents about the house? I was like, sure. And then from there, like many, many shows and movies were filmed at our house. And at one point, the farm yeehaw was going on. And they had to cut in the house because the farm, like the pigs and the kids were too loud.
Oh, my Lord.
So all the set crew and everyone's like, let's just go
what
see what's
is
going
that?
on.
Right.
So we came down, saw the pig races, and the one guy who drove in on the lane was like, you guys are too entertaining to not do something with.
Because how many kids are there?
5 of us.
Yeah.
So 5 kids, 2 parents, pig farm, adventure farm. They're thinking reality show.
They're thinking Kardashians gone hillbilly.
Right.
You know?
And we were going to be in the musical aspect, and they had contacts in Nashville. So we went down, and I think we were 16 and
Yeah.
18, and we met some people in Nashville, and the show never happened, but we kept our contacts and kept going to Nashville, and that's where it all stemmed from.
Were you ever playing local bars? Were you ever doing local shows
Oh,
and all
yeah.
that kind of stuff?
Oh,
For
yeah.
sure, especially like we have a cottage in Southampton, Ontario, and we would always every summer play every single weekend. And then we went to university, we would book our own shows and play as much as we could. But nothing really happened until we started going to Nashville a lot.
When did the decision come that you were going to take this seriously? You were going to do it for a living?
It was actually our dad.
Yeah.
Our dad did it. We won the Boots and Hearts Emerging Artist Showcase in 2013, and I was going back into second year university at Guelph, and Jenna was going to fourth year at Guelph. And
What did you study at university? Music or?
Marketing management.
Oh, it's pretty good.
biochem.
Oh, of course, the
Yeah.
classic.
I was going to be a chiropractor, like our dad.
Right, because you get chiropractor families.
Yes.
You go to the classic biochem to
straight to
straight to
chiropractic
music
college.
music
Yeah.
pipeline. Okay, so you start doing gigs together, and you win this Boots and Hearts thing, and then what happens?
And we went and sat in class for a week, and our dad, I think he felt the same thing we felt. We're like, there's something more to this. We
Yeah.
can't just go back to school and live this normal life. So he pulled us out of class within the first week and was like, I think we need to drop out, and you guys should go to Nashville. And
He told us
do
to
it.
drop out.
Yeah.
It's rare.
I know.
It's a lovely thing. It sounds like both your parents were really supportive of you the whole way
Yeah.
through in an industry where parents generally aren't.
Yes,
Or, you know.
exactly. And I think it's because our parents just love to entertain. They're such entertainers, and I think they saw a bit of themselves in us. And they're like, this is our opportunity too.
So the moment I heard about you guys was from this song. Just take a listen to this.
Ooh.
Singing long live the night. It's a song coming on, one that everyone knows. It's a bar, it's a field, it's a sea where it goes. It's a guy and a girl hoping that sun don't rise. Singing long live the night.
That's a big song. This is Reklaws with Long Live the Night. The song is double platinum in Canada. It was your first Billboard Top 10 hit. The Canadian Football League uses it as the theme for the Thursday night football game. So, Stu, talk to me about this time in your life. Does this feel like a turning point?
This song? Yeah. We had Hometown Kids on the radio, and it was our first major record deal, and I was terrified. We both were terrified. And we
You're
were
terrified of what?
We were just
Getting
afraid
it
of losing it.
wrong.
We were afraid of it not, it was our first real opportunity, and we knew the music had to be not just okay, it had to be incredible. And somebody, her name's Jen Dale, and she works for a radio station in Red Deer, Alberta, and we were out there doing a radio tour, and she was like, Hometown Kids is good. She was like, the second single's going to decide whether you guys can do this or not. I was like, what do you mean? She's like, the second single at radio is the most important for anyone's career. So if it's not a great song, you're probably not going to get a lot of airplay.
Because it
moving
keeps you
forward.
from being like a flash in the pan?
Right.
I
It's like
guess so,
someone knows
yeah.
one song, and then you have a second song that's even better than your first song, and everybody gets excited.
You need that follow-up.
Yeah. And so I flew to Nashville right away and wrote that song within, and feels like that 2 days in a row. Just something was in me. I think it was fear.
Yeah.
And within, I think, 2 weeks we had it recorded.
What did that song do for you?
It was huge. It was the first time we saw, on stage, people really having effect on a fan, which was so cool. Them singing it back. We'd never ever seen that before. It was amazing. And then for the CFL to pick it up and want to make it the theme song for Thursday night was huge. It was the first time, we always joke, it was the first time we ever had haters.
We knew that was something was going well because a lot of haters were coming in.
Yeah, they're
people
like,
giving you a hard time?
oh, they're like,
Yeah.
look at their teeth, so much teeth.
Or even if you just think about football fans, they like classic rock, or some of them like rap. And
Yeah.
So this country band coming in with Long Live
They're
the
like,
Night.
shut it off.
Yeah, they're not into it.
Guys,
So
I work for the CBC. Don't talk to me about haters. I could talk to you about haters all day.
yeah.
But
it is a good thing, though.
y-
You're getting everywhere.
I guess so.
Yeah.
As the kids say more. What do you mean by that?
Any publicity is good publicity.
Yeah, haters
good
means
or
you're,
bad.
you're making
Yeah.
you're making an impression.
Exactly.
Yeah. Look at
Share
Taylor
it.
Swift,
Yeah,
biggest person in the world.
and if people don't like you, as long as some people like you,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you're doing a good job. Okay, so then you start going on the road, touring. All of a sudden, I think last time we were here, we talked about, we did the whole what's it like to be in your band with your sibling kind of thing. I'm almost more curious about what's it like when it becomes real work. You're touring a lot. You're talking probably 100, 120 days on the road, right?
Yeah.
How did you find it?
It can be tough for sure. I really like touring. It's one of my favorite things to do. But I mean, as siblings, yeah, it's hard work. It's hard to feel like you're living your own life, but also you're doing everything together. It's kind of crazy. We do a lot of things alike. Like today, we woke up and wore the same outfit.
We didn't speak about it.
No, that's just, we kind of think the same now.
Yeah.
And I truly think that down the road, as much as we love what we're doing. Of course we do. I think we're taking a lot of this time together for granted. And I think we'll look back and be like, wow, that was beautiful that we got to spend that much time together and achieve all these goals and see all these things together and share it, which is, it's been cool.
It's been interesting to watch you. As you guys know, that as I drunkenly tell you at the Junos what a big fan I am of your band, and so I keep up of I keep up on what you guys are doing, and I know there's been a lot of change. I mean, I definitely don't want to get into this, like change in the industry with you guys, change with labels, change with all this other stuff. So I've been keeping an eye and just kind of wondering how things are going, changing. You've had that I think What the Truck did really well on TikTok.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then you start winning some CCMAs, you get nominated for Junos. And then I want to talk about the America's Got Talent thing.
Yeah.
Because this really caught me off guard. So, I mean, I think when I saw it, I was like, they're going on, no disrespect, but I was like, they're going on Canada's Got Talent? Like
America's Got Talent.
I know, but I was like, they're going on Canada's Got Talent?
Canada's?
They're pretty big. Why are they going on Canada's Got Talent? And then I saw it was America's Got Talent, which is a gigantic show.
Yeah.
Tell me how that happened.
Dang, we got a call after we did the CCMAs 2023 with Drake Milligan. We played Honky Tonkin' About, and Drake had done America's Got Talent. And so some of the producers of that show were watching us perform, and they reached out and asked if we would come and audition for the show. And we got that call, and our team was like, let's do it. And him and I were like, I don't know about that.
Tell me more about that.
We were scared. We've got such an amazing thing going on up here, and like we didn't know necessarily like if it went bad, if they would love that it went bad and post that all over the internet.
Yeah.
And like Simon Cowell was like, "What are you guys doing here?" Like, or anything. It could have gone any way, but it went. The first audition went so well, and like we put "People Don't Talk About" out, that song that we didn't want to talk about when we first released it, and I always expected and hoped that it would have a bigger life, and it seemed like that was the spot for it.
What was the impetus for saying yes when you were skeptical? What made you say yes?
Because our path in this career has not been straight. I don't think any artist's career is straight. And I think it always comes down to just saying yes to things and walking through those doors that open up, because you never know what door is going to open. And it wasn't a bad door to open. It was cool. It was like getting in front of those people, and I mean, millions of people, and playing songs and just showing ourselves to the world.
And we've been going to Nashville a long time. Like we say, we have a house down there, but it's the hardest time ever to break in country music because it's such a popular thing. It's the hottest thing in town, and so we just wanted to see if we can find maybe a different path to get it in front of the right faces and people.
What is it like to be on one of those shows? What is it?
Terrifying.
It felt like we were at the early days of the Reklaws. It felt like we were like didn't have a single out and trying to like explain what we are to people.
Like it felt exciting
weird.
telling everyone we were going to do it, but to do it, like to get on stage and look at Simon Cowell in the eyeballs and be like, oh my gosh, we're going to be judged on our career. It's not like we've been singing in our parents' basement for the last 5 years. We're getting judged by Simon Cowell. So we were like freaking out. Yeah, it was terrifying.
They were very positive. What's it like backstage? Good, weird hang backstage? Cool backstage?
I mean, it reminded us of Yeehaw Adventure Farm.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
There was a chicken. There was clowns. There was a
Simon
horse.
Cowell was betting on pig races.
It was wild. It was like Jenna said it. She was like, I feel like mom's here. Like this is that woman dressed as a clown holding the chicken is mom. Like
you weren't joking about there being chickens.
No,
there was chickens.
The chicken was a magician.
Mind-reading chickens.
Yeah, he's a mind-reading chicken.
So it's a talent show, that's for sure.
Well, I'm sure it felt very comfortable to be on. No disrespect.
No.
To be on the show with the mind-reading chickens.
Very cool.
Let's talk about the song you auditioned with, and Stuart just mentioned it. Let's listen to it.
That was the old me. Nobody told me that everything changes, reality sets in. You better keep quiet if you want to fit in. People don't talk about when it's 2 a.m. You're talking to yourself again. You're digging a hole. You're digging a hole. People don't talk about trying to be yourself, but feeling like you're someone else. You're not alone. You're not alone.
So that's the Reklaws of People Don't Talk About. Stuart, I'll, like I said to you guys when you came in, I'm going to let you steer the ship on this one. Tell me about the precipitating event that led to that song being written, and a little bit about the song and where it came from.
We actually wrote it while our mom was still alive, and she was kind of going through the thick of it. And I remember I tossed that title out because I wanted to write a song about like when the NFL team that loses the Super Bowl, there's like a box of hats that were never given out to that team. I was like, let's talk about that because nobody talks about those kind of things, like the people, like the underdogs and whatnot. And Jenna and our producer Callum, who's an amazing friend of ours, was like, what if we did it about what you guys are actually going through and how people don't talk about it enough? And so it stemmed from there, and we were like emotional the whole day. Kind of, it was a tough one to get through. And as soon as we finished, we sent it to the team because we just knew there was something there. And we debated for a long time about putting it out because I specifically did not want to talk about it. I didn't want to acknowledge it. I didn't want to be the mental health advocates to like everybody that just sees us. They assume that that's what we're doing because I want to be the party band. But I realized that people can do both, and you can have a person that comes to a concert that wants to hear Along the Night, or some of them want to come and listen to people don't talk about, and that's amazing.
And for people that don't know, we lost our mom 2.5 years ago to mental health.
Yeah.
And like Stu said, it was when she was going through all that stuff that we wrote this song. And we wrote it, and she had passed away, and it was crazy. We didn't know, I mean, our whole worlds were upside down, and this song was just in the background, and our team was like, could be amazing for you guys to do this song. And we recorded it, but we didn't want to put it out. It was terrible.
Why didn't you want to put it out?
I think because it was just, we didn't want to talk about the story that came with that song. And it's so ironic that the song is called People Don't Talk About, because we didn't want to be the band that goes out and is talking about mental health, because that's scary and sad. And we didn't want to do it. But then America's Got Talent came on the table, and we were like, if we had one song to go out there and perform, and let's say we only make the one round and we only get that one moment, and if we could help anyone at home feeling like they don't have a space to talk about it, then this is the time we're going to do it. And it was wild to tell our story in front of millions of people, but the timing just seemed so right. I mean, we had released that song, but 2 years went by since we had done anything with it. So it seemed like the right timing, but it's been a crazy, crazy time.
Yeah.
I want to say a couple of things here. First is I understand what you mean. Like, as someone who has both lost a parent and has had mental health struggles in my own life, I don't want to be the mental health struggle guy.
Right.
I don't.
Yeah.
No.
And I know people who are.
Yeah.
And I don't want to do that.
No, yeah.
I want to be more than just the mental health struggle guy, and I want to talk about more than just mental health struggles in my life.
Yeah.
I also want to talk about more than just grief and sadness, and I want there to be joy and laughter and fun in my life.
And that was so much what our mom was. So I didn't want the whole story of her to just be that, and I wanted it to be a celebration when we spoke about it.
I wondered after your mom's passing, because again, I follow you guys on the internet and all that. I wondered after, and I think we chatted a little bit after that, and I wondered whether you were going to keep going as a group after that.
I know. I thought the same thing. It was crazy how the timing went. She'd passed away. It was
Early March.
It was almost like she knew if this was what was going to happen. She knew we needed a little bit of time before everything. I mean, she passed away, and I was getting married 2-3 months after. And then we had, because of COVID, every show that had been booked got pushed to the next summer.
So it was 3 summers worth of shows.
So we had 3 summers worth of shows back to back, all signed like agreements that were showing up and playing these shows. And we almost did not do it, for sure, because it was terrible. And it's like, how do you get on stage and
start a party,
but also be like, not talk about it because everyone knows.
Yeah.
And to not talk about it makes it like, oh, well, that's even weirder that you're not talking about what just happened.
Yeah.
So it became like, this is our job, and this is also our story. And you can't run from your story.
Yeah.
And I remember being like, when it happened, I felt like almost like, oh my gosh, I feel embarrassed that I have to go out there and tell this story.
Of course. That's a barely understandable. That's really, really understandable.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's you have to give so much of yourself. There's still, people don't always say the right thing when they hear a story like this.
Yeah.
People don't always think the right thing when they hear a
Right.
story about this. People can say weird and hurtful things. I understand.
Totally.
That for sure.
Yeah,
And a lot-
there has been some hurtful things, but that's besides the point.
Sure,
But
sure. But I understand that for sure.
I was skeptical of putting People Don't Talk About out into the set this past summer as well, because it was just, it's slow, it's emotional, like you're saying. You don't want to put everyone into that place. We played to like the most crazy party fans, so I was worried about losing them if we start playing a slow song, because we've seen I've seen that happen at every show almost. But for some reason, that song this summer, every time we started playing it, we'd have 15,000 people screaming, losing their minds, and they would just go dead silent and for the whole 2 minutes listening to the song. It was pretty powerful.
Because this is worth mentioning. The Reklaws, when you go to see them live, it's a party. It's drinking, it's partying, it's a great time, and it's really making. And I understand that. But I think that people. I don't know. I think that the thing that you are being quiet about is that everybody who's drinking and partying and have a good time can relate to that.
Yeah,
exactly.
Everybody knows what you're talking about. My question is, when you are reluctant to talk about it for whatever reason, whatever understandable reason, also because the press and media can get like focused on that only.
Where it's like, are you using that to
100%?
I'm like, what?
I guess I could tell you some stories.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
But then you sing it in front of millions of people on NBC.
Yeah.
And how did and you talk a little bit about your mom in that? How did that feel?
It felt scary, but it also felt like, okay, this is like a release. Like I don't think we knew how badly we needed to get something off of our chest, and to feel like we have this platform for a reason, and that door opened for a reason.
Yeah.
And our story has happened for a reason.
Yeah.
Our mom passed away for a reason.
Yeah, of course.
And our dad has been so adamant on getting the word out about mental health and like getting the help for the people that are struggling, because he saw it, and I think he sometimes feels like he didn't do enough in the time with our mom. And so when we finished that night, we called our dad after it aired on NBC, and we were like, so what do you think? And he was like, he's usually got a lot to say. He barely was able to get any words out. He was like, I'm so glad you guys chose that song. I'm just so glad. And so when he said that, I was like, that was the right song to do.
You're breaking my heart here. It's really, really, really beautiful. What did it feel like when you were performing it?
It felt like huge. It felt magical. Like I remember being so nervous, and then as soon as that first piano started, I was like, oh, there was like this peace that came over, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's this whole world, this whole life is out of our hands. Like, and to sing this song, I could feel our mom up there. I could feel just this momentum of something that was bigger than us starting.
Yeah. And we're so used to having in-ears on where we can hear the crowd, and at AGT there's no crowd noise. And I was on the piano, so throughout the whole song, I'm like halfway through, I was like, I hope they're enjoying this.
I know.
Like,
Oh my gosh.
I have no idea what
They
is
hate
going
it. They
on.
hate it.
But when we finished and I like looked over, and then both Simon and Howie stood up and the crowd stood up, I was like, okay, we're good.
Yeah, it was
We'll be
good.
fine.
Did Howie talk to you about being Canadian? Did you get that?
He did. He was like, Canada.
Perfect. Good.
Yeah.
Tell me about this EP. I think this is really beautiful. I'd love for you to tell me a little bit about it.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, I think this has all stemmed from this AGT moment of like, oh my gosh, we have so much to say about this situation, but it's just taken so long for us to be able to talk about it. But we're releasing a new EP with 4 songs. It's called Outliving, in brackets, for Mom. And she's on the cover of it. And it's 4 songs that we wrote separately, actually. I mean, one of them was together. But we didn't realize how much individually we were going out and writing about this situation.
Yeah.
Because we had so much to say and not really real ways to feel it, except songwriting really helped. So I wrote Outliving with my friend Emily Reed in LA, and Stu wrote Don't Quit Your Daydream. And we realized after we came together and put a bunch of our new songs, we were like, wow, we have an EP for Mom.
Yeah.
And it just...
And we wrote Stardust together with our group in LA. But I actually noticed something today while we were talking about this. But the vocal on Don't Quit Your Daydream and the vocal on Outliving, Jenna's vocal on Outliving, my vocal on Don't Quit Your Daydream, is from the day of, with the same guy who plays the piano on both songs.
Oh. Yeah.
Because we listened to the vocals back, and throughout the whole day, both of us were like crying and just barely getting through the song, but there was no way to beat that vocal. So like the vocals on those are from the day we wrote it, which is very cool.
That's beautiful. Have you played the record for your family?
Played it for Dad.
I played it for Dad, on Friday night. He was just a basket of
Yeah,
kids.
you can't.
Yeah.
He's it's been tough for him. He's
course.
been, I mean, he was like the sole person with her, and I think this has just been, it's going to be a healing journey for our family, and I think this is a great way for them to heal, is to listen to these songs.
It's a good start.
And for sure.
It's a beautiful. Listen, I'm so grateful to you for telling this story and sharing this story.
Of
I think
course.
I know it's not always comfortable, and I can tell you, I know from my own experience,
Yes.
this is not always comfortable.
Yeah.
But thank you. It really, I think it does mean a lot to when folks who aren't associated with mental health stories, who are associated with drinking and partying and country music, also open up about these things. It tells people who love drinking and country music that they too go through these things.
Oh, we love to drink.
There's a lot of high. You got to have low lows to have high highs.
Correct.
I thought we could ask one more question about your mom before we go. Your mom's birthday is coming up.
Yes.
Tomorrow.
She would have been.
She would have been 20. I
60.
keep saying 27.
On the 27th of
On the
September.
She
She would have loved to say that she was turning
I am
27.
27.
We can say she was 27 if you want us to.
No, it would have been her 60th birthday, and we're releasing the EP on her 60th birthday.
So every year on the anniversary of my dad's passing, I always do a thing. I always do a thing
do?
that would remind me and my brother and my sister. I hope they don't mind me saying this. My dad. This is really simple. It's nothing too serious. I mean,
Yeah.
we do some stuff that I won't talk about, But one of the things we do is my dad loved Coors Light from the cupboard. He didn't keep it in the fridge.
No.
What?
Yeah, it's madness.
No way.
Like warm.
Like room temp.
Stop.
That's like an East Coast thing.
I don't know. It's my dad thing.
What the
that
heck?
I do not know what it is. He kept his Coors Light in the cupboard.
That's kind of amazing.
I guess so. It's gross.
You should always keep it in a cupboard somewhere.
Well, if they want to send some in.
Let's go.
So do you drink lukewarm beer on
I
your
drink
birthday?
lukewarm Coors Light. And my dad loved plain Lay's chips, like, regular.
Oh, he was a
yeah.
simple man.
Oh, my God. We're from Newfoundland, buddy. Don't worry about it.
It is an East Coast
Yeah,
thing.
you're right about
it's his
that.
guitar.
So that's pretty good, Jen. That's pretty good. Every year on my dad's birthday, my brother, my sister, and I, my brother-in-law lived in Toronto. My sister still lives in Newfoundland. We have a warm can of Coors Light and a bag of chips as a ritual to remember my dad.
That's
Wow.
I was asking if you have anything planned like that for yourselves.
Oh, well, we're doing a charity event for our mom on the 27th.
Yeah.
And we're going to have a Chardonnay bar for Flo.
Yeah. Everyone, a lot of them, not everybody, but a lot of them are coming dressed up as hillbillies like it would be Yeehaw Adventure Farm because her birthday was the beginning of Yeehaw. Usually it was the first Friday. And so everyone's going to be dressing up, blacking out their teeth with wax and all sorts of stuff like that. We usually would play a baseball game.
She loved baseball.
But the baseball would be a tennis ball and the racket would be like a stick. Like it was never like a real thing.
Yeah.
But we'd
Truly
go-
hillbilly here.
Yeah,
by the
yeah.
way.
We are hillbilly.
We always did
sure, I
that.
can
We always
see
did
it.
that on her birthday. So maybe if there's time after sound check, we'll do that.
I hope you get something to do for yourselves. I hope you guys have a little ritual. I do find it helps.
Yeah, it does,
Yeah.
just to make a moment.
Yeah,
you
just to
know?
have a little moment to yourself.
I think she would be very surprised at how we're celebrating her 60th birthday. I think it would mean a lot to her. Yeah.
Don't go for the warm Coors Light.
I'm going to skip on the warm
No,
Coors Light.
it's actually got to be beyond like almost freezing cold wine.
Oh, yeah.
That's what she would be.
Freezing cold wine.
Wine.
Ice, like so
Like
cold.
she would have it in the freezer to the point like where it's about to turn.
There's a similarity in our parents, though. Though the temperatures are different, the warm Coors Light and the cold wine, they feel related to me. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
And you started a fund through Kids Help Phone in your mom's name.
Yes,
Tell me a little bit
that's
about
right.
that.
It's called the Flo Walker Stardust Fund with Kids Help Phone. I mean, we started a GoFundMe right after our mom had passed because we knew we had to find something good out of this situation. And we raised a whole bunch of money. And for 2.5 years, we've been sitting on it because we didn't know what to do with it. I mean, first of all, we were grieving, and then the mental health space is very confusing sometimes, and we couldn't figure out where to put it. But we had met Kids Help Phone through putting out a song with them for the Feels Out Loud campaign. And we loved everything they were doing and the people that they were working with. And it just felt like, oh my gosh, this might be something here. And our mom, when she was young, went through something really traumatic and didn't have the proper outlets to talk to people. And every time she was going through a spurt of like downfall, she would always bring that up. Always this childhood thing that happened. And we were like, hey, a lot can happen when you're young. And the fact that Kids Help Phone is tapping into that and telling kids that this is where you can call if you are alone and you're going through something.
You'll be heard.
Yes. And that was all, I mean, we don't know, but like we think maybe our mom could have had a different story if she had had someone to intervene or someone to talk to.
Yeah.
And same with us, I think, because our mom's illness was not just the end of her life, it was a constant whole life battle. And we saw her go through spells like every 10 years, it seemed like. But when we were, like I was probably 16, Jenna was 18, we kind of had to take over caring for our little sisters because our mom was just so
Yeah.
not able to do so.
Of course.
Today, if I heard a fan, like somebody I was a fan of say that and I was in that situation, I would have called for
Yeah.
sure. And
Or even knowing that it's a safe space.
Yeah.
Or even if you want to call and you don't want people to know who you are
Yeah.
and you just want to get something off your chest, that's the place to call.
yeah, it's incredible what they're doing.
It's a beautiful and courageous thing you're doing, and it's a really touching thing you're doing. And I really appreciate you coming in and talking to us about it. And I think there's more meaning in you telling your story than you'll ever know. So thanks a lot for coming in. And I get to be I'm a big fucking
Well,
Reklaws
look at, we
fan.
brought you a hat.
No, you didn't.
Oh yeah,
Get out of
you
here.
get to choose
Get
which one
outta
you
here.
want.
We
No way
have
it's gonna
the
fit my head, by
normal
the way,
black
but what-
R,
Yeah.
or
The
the
duck,
duck hat,
or a yee.
or a yee, but I forgot the ha.
No, but that's all right because I'm from Newfoundland, so we say ye. People just think it means you.
Ooh.
How are ye? You know?
Do you want
Yeah.
yee? Which one do you want?
I'm
one
gonna
do you
go for
want?
duck.
I like
Okay,
it.
I'm
let's
gonna go for duck.
go.
There's no way it's gonna. I have the biggest head in the
No,
entire
it'll fit,
world.
it'll
No,
fit.
You think so?
I made sure because I got a fat head too.
I got 7 and 7. Okay, that's not
Oh, maybe.
Oh, you're
What do you
looking
think?
good.
How does it look?
Woo!
You're looking
They're
good.
Look at the
clapping.
applause coming from out there.
That looks hot.
Thank you very much. Finally, someone has said that to me on the radio show.
He's hot.
I appreciate it. Finally, the duck hat was what I needed all along.
What the duck?
Thank you very much for being here.
Oh, we love you.
We love you, Tom.
Jenna and Stuart Walker were my guests. They are the Canadian country music duo, the Reklaws. Their new EP, Outliving, is out everywhere September 27th.
Tom Power, everybody.
Get out of here.